You know, I thought about pretentiously putting all of the books right behind me because I know that there's going to be some vlogger out there that's going to do it. Screw it. Casually shows up for a review with all 13 books plus the Beatrice letters. It's over there. I thought it would look even more pretentious if I opened them all up. Welcome everybody to my channel. My name is Jeremy and I'm going to be doing a review of episode 1 and 2 of a series of unfortunate events, which has dropped on Netflix today. Happy Friday the 13th, by the way. Hope y'all didn't have any bad luck. But if you did, at least you're not the Baudelaire children, because they have some pretty bad luck. So, as you can see, I'm not a casual fan of the series. I'm a huge fan of a series of unfortunate events. I read the books in high school, and I collected the Beatrice letters, and I'm invested in this franchise, I should say. I really enjoyed the movie for what it was, even though it was garbage, and it blended a lot of things that didn't need to be blended, but it felt like a complete side story, like a retelling. I am not analyzing this piece entirely outside of that movie, because that is another media that exists. I was really excited for this mini-series to be released because I'm such a huge fan of the books, and I felt like the movie didn't do a huge fan service to all of us who enjoyed these books. I feel like they did a lot of things that were a little sloppy, and I feel like the character of Count Olaf turned more into a comedy piece than into a dark, evil, sinister character, which is, I would say, is like the most important part of the whole story, is how awful Count Olaf is. That being said, I was extremely worried and concerned that Neil Patrick Harris was not going to live up to what I thought Count Olaf should be, but he has pleasantly surprised me. I appreciate what he's doing with the character so much. I think he's doing a really great job with the characterization of it. I think he's doing a good job at adding just a touch of dark humor, because the books are dark and they're a little they're unfortunate, as in the title. They have a lot of horrible things happening in them, but there is just the slightest bit of comedy in all of it, because how else do you get through horrible times but through comedy? And in reading such a tragic series of books, there has to be elements of comedy. Like in the Erstad's elevator, when they go into the elevator shaft and there's nothing but darkness, and literally like 2 pages of the book are complete darkness. Or like in, I believe, The Slippery Slope, where they're talking about deja vu, and like literally the next page is the exact same page that you just read. So there's a lot of that like ridiculous humor in these books. So I appreciate the dark humor that's being added into this. I do not, however, like any of the musical bits. I don't like the musical intro. I think it cheapens it just a little bit, and it takes it to a different place where I think there's just enough campiness in the show that the singing musical intro just takes it to another place. I appreciate what they've done with it. I appreciate where the mindset is coming from. I appreciate where the dialogue is coming from, but I just don't like it as a piece. I didn't particularly care for the musical bit that Count Olaf had, but I understood where it was coming from. I think it just could have been a hair shorter. The Baudelaire children are fantastic. All of these actors are serving the exact same faces from the original actors from the first movie. I wouldn't say that their acting is like phenomenal, but they're certainly portraying the characters as I think those characters would be in real life. So I appreciate them. A lot of people have complained about the CGI of the show, which I don't personally care if it's cheesy or not. I think it adds to the campiness of the story, and I think it matches a lot of what the book tried to accomplish. My only, it's such a small concern, but it's such an important element to the story. I do not care for Patrick Warburton as Lemony Snicket. I think Jude Law did a very good job at portraying that character. I think he got the inflections that I feel like Lemony Snicket would sound like in the book. I feel like, personally, Lemony is a very sad remorseful person, and I feel like Patrick Warburton is not getting that and is not taking that to that place. And I also may be just a little biased because all I hear is Crunk and the voice of Soarin' Over California. I don't hear Lemony Snicket, and I think it would have behooved them to have picked a different actor who didn't have such a distinctive voice. And I think had they picked someone who had a little more inflection in their voice rather than so like deadpan monotone, because like some of the lines like, I cried myself to sleep, like, I don't believe you. And so I think that's kind of pulling me out of the story, especially since he's playing such a critical role in the narrative. Joan Cusack is giving me so much life as Justice Strauss. She's playing the part perfectly. I think she's adding just the smallest little zest of humor, and it's really taking that character to a real place for me, where Justice Strauss, much like so many of the adults in A Series of Unfortunate Events, can. But I feel like what Joan Cusack is doing, and like what the actor for Mr. Poe, which I will get to him, I feel like what they're doing such a good job at is like taking these kind of like canned characters and making them not seem like a TV dinner, more like a full course entree. And getting to Mr. Poe, he and his wife, but they are just, they're everything. They are absolutely everything. I would watch an entire show of just the two of them, particularly the wife. She is so fantastic in what she's doing with the character and what she's doing as an actress. Like, I just absolutely love her. I love that the troupe is getting a very prominent role, because I could not tell you even one single thing that I remember from the troupe from the movie. The only thing I'm like whatever about is the androgynous person is supposed to be really, really overweight, and that in the books is why they were unrecognizable as either a man or a woman, because they were so huge. But I appreciate the person that they picked for it, because they do look very androgynous, so it fits with the character. Because other than being like really huge, that character didn't really have any role other than just like being confusion for the children. So like, they're not that important of a character, so I can like forgive it. The white-faced women are fierce. The hook-handed man is absolutely fantastic. He's the most important of all of the troupe members. I believe he makes the most appearances in the books. I appreciate that he's got the most character, and he's just so fantastic that I will like eat everything he serves me with a spoon. He's perfect. But I just cannot sing enough praises for Neil Patrick Harris, mostly because I was so worried that he was gonna play it as a comedy character like Jim Carrey did, and I feel like a comedy character does not a Count Olaf make. So I'm so happy that he's playing the character correctly, and I feel like he's doing such a good job. But I would love to hear from other people and like other opinions on what they think that he's doing with the role, because I'm really impressed, and I think that he was a perfect, absolutely perfect choice for Count Olaf. I don't think I would pick anybody else. Seeing him in it, when I heard his name associated with it, I was like, no. But now that I've seen him in it, there's no one else I would have picked for that role. I want to say as my final like note here is I do like a couple of the changes that they've added to it, like the parents that they've thrown in. I personally do not believe that those are the Baudelaire children's parents, because I think that would be such a disservice to the fans to kind of rewrite the whole story and be like, ooh, look, their parents are alive. Because the books heavily imply through the art in the end, as well as in the Beatrice letters, that Beatrice is their mother, and she is still possibly alive. They imply that during, I believe in The Slippery Slope, they mention that she might be alive, but it's never #confirmed. So I think it would be such a disservice to be like, the parents, they're still alive, here they are. So I'm curious to see what is going to happen in the series with them. And I greatly appreciate that they're sticking so much to the books. That's what is so important to me that happened, is that you see so many times with books that are translated into movies or TV shows that they stray away from the original content, and I so greatly appreciate that they're staying close to the books, if not almost word for word, and that makes me happy. So next is The Reptile Room. I'm going to watch that tomorrow, and then I will make a review on that. So let me know what your thoughts are on the current series of Unfortunate Events, if you've watched it, if you liked it, what you thought about it, what you didn't like about it, if you're a fan of the books, or if you just watched the original movie and never bothered with the books. The movie is not a good counterpart for the series. So let me know what your thoughts were on the show, and don't tell me anything. I mean, it's not like you'll spoil anything if you tell me about any future episodes, but just try to keep any of your thoughts contained to the bad beginning, because obviously I know what happens in the other stories, I've read them, but I don't want to have my perception of that tainted by anyone else's opinions until I see it. So just tell me what you thought about the bad beginning. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!